Classified intelligence
He's not supposed to give it to me. He's supposed to give it to members of Congress. He's supposed to go give it to members of Congress. That's exactly why members of Congress. You're only one. There are 435 members and 100 senators, and others have not gotten.
This is where the conversation quietly shifts from foreign policy to constitutional authority. The question is no longer just about Iran. It becomes about process, representation, and whether military action can move forward without full congressional consensus. What you're about to see is not simply a clash over strategy, but a clash over definitions, power, and accountability.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I just want to start by saying I think we all agree, pretty much everyone around the world, except for maybe a few, agree that it is a good thing that Ayatollah Khamenei is no longer in power. The real question is, why should the American people have confidence that what comes next will not be another forever war and will ultimately result in a better leadership, a better regime for both the Iranian people who deserve as much and better for U.S. security?
Well, first of all, I want to clarify for the American people and make it very clear that after speaking to the White House, after speaking directly to the Secretary of State, that it is not the intent or the position or the directive of this administration to put boots on the ground in Iran. The result of the strikes were due to intelligence that was picked up on two fronts. One, in the southern belt of Iran, there was actually direct threat aimed at our strategic locations over there for our service members, as well as the negotiations not being done in good faith.
The groundwork is procedural, but the implications are enormous.
In regards to Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner regarding ending the nuclear enrichment program, which the president and Congress have both been in alliance with, ensuring that Iran cannot have nuclear weapons. And so the U.S. government had actually offered permanent nuclear fuel so that they could have clean energy. That was denied by the regime. And these strikes that you're seeing now currently take place are actually a result of a kill switch, if you will, plan that was put in place by the former leadership in Iran to basically ensure that there would be the most civilian damage if their leadership was taken out. That was called the Nazir Plan. And so what you're seeing right now, and as the president has stated earlier today, it will be up to the Iranian people to decide to build up their own infrastructure. But you did see recently, this past afternoon, that Iranian leadership currently has reached out to the White House, and we are waiting on an update from the White House to see what the contents of that call will be.
Congresswoman, can I ask you, what is the legal basis that you understand this president has to launch this war?
The defense is clear: limited, strategic, and preventative.
Well, his Article 2 authorities actually give him the powers to protect our troops, our citizens, if imminent threat is basically we are facing it as a country. What I will also state, though, is that the Iranian regime did make an assassination attempt on the president. The CIA director actually came out, I think it was either today or yesterday, and actually talked about that. And the president was still willing to negotiate with them in terms of ending their nuclear enrichment program. And so just imagine what would have happened if they were successful in assassinating our president. And I'm sure your network and you're not advocating for that.
So, Congresswoman, are you saying that it went into the decision to invade Iran, to attack Iran, to decapitate their leadership, the assassination attempt on Donald Trump? So this was personal and about him on some level?
That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
No, that is not what I'm saying, but I am answering the question that he posed as what authorities is he given? That's the Article 2 authority if there's direct threat against our service members or our citizens, which, as I outlined earlier, the southern portion of Iran in that belt region actually had imminent threat with their short-range missiles to our base, in addition to their nuclear enrichment program, of which they were not negotiating in good faith. So it was multifaceted. And as you are seeing now, they have fired back. They struck. We now lost 3 military service members. There are multiple wounded. And again, it is not the intention of the U.S. government to invade. That is not what is happening. These are isolated, strategic, large-scale attacks. But again, there are negotiations that will take place, or at least open communication with the White House as soon as the president decides that he is willing or ready to talk. And that has developed in the last couple of hours. So that update will come hopefully later on this evening.
Now the debate moves from strategy to semantics.
I'm sorry, you say it's not the intention of the U.S. government to invade? Did we not just invade?
We are not invading. Are you seeing boots on the ground there? Because I'm not. And I've been told directly by the State Department and the White House that that's not the intention.
I mean, we just killed the leader of the country. That's not... Okay.
Targeted strategic military strikes and invasions are two totally different things, according to military terminology.
They're calling it a war. The president has called it a war.
And targeted airstrikes
strategic strikes, and according to the White House, and I just talked to them and talked to the Secretary of State, strategic strikes are not war.
Really? So if someone bombed America,
do you see boots on the ground?
War? Oh wait, that makes no sense. So you're saying it has to be boots on the ground?
According to your own by definition,
so that's your standard.
The regime of Iran has killed thousands of Americans and murdered them. So by definition, they've already declared war on the United States.
I know. I've had Shiite missiles raining down on me too. I know how terrible the Iranian regime is. We are not debating that they are a truly terrible regime. What we're talking about is the standard for the commander-in-chief to commit our sons and daughters in the military to war, and going to war when it is in the national interest, and making that case to America and going to Congress and getting approval for war. So you are saying this is a limited mission that is only bomb strikes, so there is no congressional authorization necessary.
History becomes the justification.
How is this different from when Joe Biden bombed the Houthi rebels in Yemen without congressional authorization, and you oppose that?
There is a direct and imminent threat, I just stated, to American forces, and I outlined that both two cases. In addition to the nuclear enrichment, which is, by the way, bipartisanly supported, the U.S. Congress is against Iran having that program. I will firmly back the president. Secondly, what the president has been very specific about is that we will not put boots on the ground there, period. Case closed. We will not vote on having war with Iran because, as of right now, according to the plan, which I won't say too much on television, but according to the three objectives that this administration outlined, everything is going according to plan. And so if you are asking me whether or not I support what the president has done, I do. You just stated that the act of war would be if Americans were being killed. You said, what if a bomb went off in the United States, right? For over 40 years, the Iranian government and regime has been responsible for the deaths of thousands upon thousands of Americans, not to mention state-sponsored terrorism. And so did the president do the right thing? Has he been consistent in this? Absolutely.
Can you just tell me really quickly, where have they killed thousands of Americans in America?
I didn't say they killed thousands of Americans in America. I said that they have been responsible for thousands of Americans being killed. And I think that that's easily something that you can verify. I don't know, state-sponsored terrorism for starters. Are you serious right now about that whole thing? I'm not going to list out exact specific locations. They've literally been responsible for sponsored terrorism.
But consistency is not the same as clarity.
Are you talking about the Iraq war where the U.S. invaded Iraq?
You can start out by the three that they just killed. Okay, the whole point of your network, if you want to actually talk about the facts here, I'm giving you the facts. But I'm not going to sit here and argue with you about something that's commonly accepted and known.
It seems like you actually don't have a good understanding of the facts, Congresswoman. You don't have a good understanding of the conflict.
Well, I'm the one that's getting the briefings, not you. You're a pundit offering your opinion because you want clickbait, but are actually interested in the substance.
No, not at all.
We can talk about the fact that Obama sent millions upon millions of dollars to the Iranian regime, or do you not want to address that because it's not supported by your opinion and your network?
No, not at all.
Is this really even something that we're going to actually get to substance, or are you going to continue to attack us?
No, it seems like you just want to filibuster. It seems like you don't really want to have a good faith conversation.
Or you just don't like what I'm saying.
No, we would have invited you on the air.
This happens every time I'm on with you.
Yeah, and you keep coming on every time, and you keep stating a lot of things that are incorrect.
The United States launched an attack on Iran. About it, except for you.
The United States launched a war against Iran right now. Iran retaliated, in which American members. Strikes. You can call it whatever you want to call it, but at the end of the day, the Iranians responded and killed 3 American service members. So what we're trying to get at is you make an assertion on this air that it's not an invasion when America sends fighter jets and Israel sent fighter jets into another country.
Boots on the ground are not going to happen. Congress will not vote on war with Iran because that is not something that we support, and that is not something that the administration supports.
That's actually what the Constitution says that in Article 1, but I guess you think Article 2 is more important.
Article 2 is when the U.S. citizens citizens and our military are in direct imminent threat, the president reserves the authority.
Yeah, well, he hasn't made that case to the American public or Congress, and that's the problem. And that's why he's supposed to go to Congress.
Well, he's not going to give you classified intelligence
information. He's not supposed to give it to me. He's supposed to give it to members of Congress. He's supposed to go give it to members of Congress. That's exactly why members of Congress. You're only one. There are 435 members and 100 senators, and others have not gotten it. You're not the only one who gets to speak on behalf of the American people.
Prior to the strike.
Anyway, unfortunately, we're out of time.
There was actually a briefing
really appreciate you coming on.
There you go. You don't want to hear the facts. They got a briefing.
It's not a fact. I'm telling you what other members of Congress have said, and that's the whole point of them being able to have a debate in Congress.
Congress was notified.
That's not what members of Congress say, but really appreciate you coming on here and saying something different. Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna. Really appreciate it. Thanks for coming.
At its core, this exchange was never just about Iran. It was about language, and language determines power. If a strike eliminates foreign leadership but includes no ground invasion, is it war? If missiles are exchanged and American service members die, does terminology still matter? The Congresswoman's position rests on a technical definition. No boots on the ground means no invasion. The host's position rests on consequence. Lethal force against another sovereign nation constitutes war, regardless of troop deployment. The Constitution complicates this further. Article 2 grants the President authority as Commander-in-Chief, but Article 1 reserves for Congress the power to declare war. Modern conflicts often exist in that grey space, authorized, but not declared. Strategic, but not labeled. Limited, yet escalating. And this is where misunderstandings can quietly emerge. If the public hears, not war, but witnesses retaliation and casualties, trust begins to erode. If Congress is briefed after action rather than before, questions about oversight naturally follow. None of these issues require outrage to analyze. They require clarity. Foreign policy debates often collapse into emotional arguments. This one didn't need to. It revealed something more subtle, how definitions shape public perception and how political messaging can blur constitutional boundaries. So the real question isn't whether Iran is a hostile regime. That point was never seriously disputed. The real question is this: who decides when America is at war, and how should that decision be communicated to the people whose sons and daughters serve? What do you think? Was this a justified strategic strike under executive authority, or the beginning of a conflict that demanded congressional approval first? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you value calm, fact-based analysis without the noise, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. More in-depth breakdowns are coming soon.